The star. Jesus was born in very humble circumstances, and yet each of the kingdoms in God's great creation honored him. The animals welcomed him into their stable and gave him a food trough for a bed. The vegetable kingdom was represented by the gifts of frankincense and myrrh, both derived from plants. The mineral kingdom gave up its gold, and shepherds and wise men represented the human kingdom. From the highest heavens the angels came, and from the planetary heavens his star appeared in the east. All creation worshipped the Creator. For centuries, astronomers have been studying and debating as they have attempted to identify the remarkable star. Some suggest it was the conjunction of two planets, perhaps Jupiter and Saturn. But the Greek word aster signifies one star and not a group of stars, astron, group of stars or astron. Others think it was a supernova that exploded and then faded away. But planets and nova aren't low enough in the heavens to guide travelers to a specific place, and they don't move in that fashion. We have to conclude that his star, Matthew chapter 2 verse 2, was a miracle of God, a special star assigned to lead the Gentile visitors to Jesus. The scenario was probably like this. In ancient times, people believed that both the birth of great men was announced by the stars. These astrologer priests saw the new star appear in the east and concluded from their studies that it announced the birth of a Jewish king. The logical place to find this king would be in Jerusalem. So they began their journey to Judea, and knowing the route, they didn't need the star to guide them. Arriving in Jerusalem, they learned that the king would be born in Bethlehem, only 6 miles away. As they left, they saw the star again, and it led them to the very house where Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were staying. Warned by God, the wise men took another route home. God leads people in ways they can understand. The law of Moses forbade the Jews from meddling with astrology and signs in the heavens. So God spoke to the Jews through his word, but he used a star to get the attention of the Gentiles. The wise men didn't stop with seeing the star, but pressed on until they found the Savior. The traditional liturgical calendar of the Christian Church assigns January 6 as a date to commemorate this occasion of the Gentiles coming to honor the Savior. It is called Epiphany, which means manifestation. Okay, it's interesting. It's good that Warren Wiersbe has come to this conclusion that it was a miraculous star. Could it be that they came into Judea and it was a daytime, they couldn't see the star, and they assumed that it must be in Jerusalem, and they came. Yeah, that could be a reason why they didn't care for the star anymore. So the daytime, the star was not visible for them. That's one possibility. So probably they should have waited for the star to guide them, but they assumed that it must be in Jerusalem, and they came to Jerusalem. And whether the star led them to Bethlehem or Nazareth, that is again something to think about. We don't know. It could very well be Nazareth, because it was around 2 years, or more than 1 year at least, we can say. More than 1 year after they started their journey, or after the first appearance of the star. So it's a long journey. And how do we know that time? You know the story. Herod found out from this Magi the time of the appearing of the star, and then he found that it could be somewhere around 2 years, and he killed all the children who were born in 2 years. and all the male children, of course. So in that sense, we know that star had appeared when Jesus was born, and then as they traveled, the star guided. It was more than a year at least for them to travel, or whatever reason. And so um, by this time, whether Mary and Joseph stayed on or had, it could be possible that they stayed back in Bethlehem. They found, because he's a carpenter, anywhere he could find a job, and he could worked in Bethlehem and stayed on, and then later went back to his hometown, Nazareth. It is possible. So the star could have guided them to Bethlehem, or it's possible also to Nazareth. But in Christmas, nativity scenes, often shepherds come and then the wise men come and the baby Jesus is just a newborn. I think that is a wrong depiction. I think we all know that. They didn't come together, or they didn't come successively immediately. They came, the time between the two visits, the first shepherd and then the wise men, at least 1 year. So a lot has happened, a lot must have happened in between. So according to the chronological order, when you put this story of the wise men, it would come after the temple dedication of Jesus, and then later, I think this story should appear. I think when you read a chronological study of the life of Jesus, that's how it should be. So God knows how to speak when He wants response. He has spoken to the Gentiles through the nature, through the star. And to us, God's people, He does speak today through His Word. And primarily, through His Word. And He could speak through any other way also. So may the Lord help us even to hear His voice and obey Him.